the biggest lie or illusion of the ego is when you think that I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I have a six pack. I'll be loved. But like, do you want to be loved because you look hot, or do you want to be loved for who you are? You can be miserable and skinny too. Like,
I can say you can be miserable and be very fit. Yes.
Yeah.
Aggie, welcome to the Earn Your Happy podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've just been like this person in my Instagram feed. Does it feel weird that I've double tapped on your face so many times?
I mean, not so much because I like
this.
I'm obsessed with you. So when you reached out and I was like, we should chat, I was like, oh my God, are you serious? You're like my girl crush. So I was like, duh.
Oh my
like,
God.
I'm super down.
I'm literally like, what? Because it's going the same way. Like, that's how I feel about you.
Because I just want to say, like, you know, there's so many women in the space in general, and they're all incredible, but there are very few that actually seem to have a beautiful relationship and be looking hot and be very deep, but also crush in business. I feel like this like one or the other. And on top of that, you're super supportive. You're a girl's girl, like always want to see other women win. And I'm like, I want her in my circle very selfishly. So
I'm available.
Yeah.
I just so happen to be available whenever you want.
Please.
I love to eat.
Great.
I do love to have cocktails once in a while. I love to dress up. So
yeah, I saw your photos from your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And you look super,
do you know what made me so excited?
So good. Like you look so good.
Your fiance is a Sag.
Yeah.
Which made me just know, like, I did not have any concerns about this podcast because I was like,
yes.
Which is so not true, you guys, but this is the belief in my head is I'm like, if she loves a Sagittarius, she's going to love me.
Oh, 100%. It's so funny because like I have a couple friends that have birthday this week and I just feel like I'm very close with all of them. So there is something to it for sure.
What's your sign? What are you?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay, but we need you. That's why.
Yeah.
Like we actually need you and I think you need us.
Yes, sometimes feel like they definitely the Sagittarius in my life. They're like, okay, guys, you need a little bit of structure over here.
Structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can like we can be the hot air balloon. You can be the rope that kind of like tethers us. Like we need that or we'd just be always kind of floating.
Yeah. That sounds exactly like Jacob.
So Virgo, I did not expect that, but it also makes so much sense in your business. Like I feel like you've done so much and it's so linear and it feels very well planned out to me. And
oh, really?
Yeah. Does it not feel that way to you?
I'm definitely not the most organized. I feel like every time like people come into my business, they're like, wait, there is no system. How you operate this?
But it's your system.
Yeah.
There is a system.
Yeah, like
they just don't know it.
Yeah. But I would have to say that I just have this like principle when I had a work with an astrologist. She said that Virgos always put obligation and responsibility before pleasure. And so I always feel like I need to finish something that I'm doing. And I always want to do it the best I can, which can be a toxic trait. I'm sure you can relate that you like commit on a good follicular day of your cycle to do something. And then like it compiles with other things. So imagine if like Chris is coming back, wants to spend time with you, you have something going on with your business, you have a podcast since 5 a.m. and it's just like when it rains, it pours. And in those moments you're like, what am I doing? But then there are moments where it's actually super fun.
Totally. It's just, it's balancing all of that, which kind of leads me to the question of you have your book, Biohack Like a Woman, and then your biohacking bestie, and you have all of these incredible products as well. Like, how have you learned to manage all of that? Is it truly like is that what got you into biohacking? Is the fact that you loved to do it all and it felt like it was all falling apart or you couldn't handle it? Or what's that initial story?
I got into biohacking because I got very sick. And so I followed the mainstream advice that told me to eat less, have less fat, work out more, have more salads and whatnot. And I was just getting sicker and sicker. My skin was really terrible. I had cystic acne. I had bald patches on my head. I put on weight. I would go to a doctor and he said like, well, that's what happens in your 30s, you know, like, and I'm like, okay, great.
No, we're thriving in our 30s.
Yeah. Well, so I was like, well, I don't want to take it for an answer, but you know, it's quite intimidating when you go to a doctor and you get a diagnosis, you know, that might be this or that. So I was terrified. I was like, okay, like I really want to get into biohacking. I feel like that was just like my, it's almost like feminist, like step is what would be the right word? Standing up against the system. I feel like the system, the medical system, and you feel like, no, I feel like I can do more. And so I got into biohacking, and, you know, I love Dave Asprey or people like Brian Johnson, but it was overwhelming as hell for me because it felt like everyone in biohacking is doing so many things every single day, and they have a 4-hour morning routine.
Totally.
And never go out, and, you know,
all
and
the
I would
fun
hear
goes
things,
away.
yeah. And so I would say like, oh yeah, biohack, and everyone was like, well, what about? But you have your nails done and your hair is done and you had your boobs done and this and that. And so I was like, oh wait, so it's like Olympics, that either do it all or nothing at all. And I was just like, that's not at all. Like, it doesn't resonate with me.
Totally.
I feel like we have so many expectations as women. I'm not gonna like let other people make me believe that I have to do something either 100,000,000% or not at all.
That's why I've been so turned off by so many things, is I'm like, I can't do that.
It's so
Extreme
unrealistic.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, great. Like, I talked to fellow biohackers and they're like, oh, I haven't gone out in like 4 years. And I'm like, I'm not impressed. I'm just like, oh, how sad.
That's so sad. It really is. I
like,
did that to
"Aw."
myself for a while. It's sad.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, I also want to be a biohacker, but I don't want women to like give up or feel like, you know, there's another thing on their to-do list. And we all know that cortisol is a big factor in not seeing results and feeling good. And so it's like, that makes me feel really stressed when I follow every single cold plunging, you know, hardcore fasting, keto advice out there. And so I decided to write a book, which is basically how to biohack and bioslack, which is like finding the right balance about what really matters and how to actually understand that. For me, biohacking is so much more than just getting something right or like getting your diet right. For me, like, that's why I really look up to you. Because to me, a true biohacking woman is a woman who, like, cool, yes, she eats healthy, yes, she likes to move, yes, she gets her supplements in, but at the same time, like, she has a great fiery relationship with her husband that she prioritizes, and they know you do too. And she feels fulfilled, like she lives in her dharma, like she knows, okay, I came on this planet to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm not gonna give up on that because of, you know, society expectation. Like, she fights for herself. And that, to me, that the purpose, the mindset is almost more important than the diet. And we know that mind over matter. We know, I mean, you know, Joe Dispenza, like, we know that you can take a placebo and feel better. So there is that level of like, yes, biohacking works, but also if you feel like cold plunging is going to heal you, it will.
Yeah.
If you feel like this is the one modality that you don't need because you can heal through meditation, that is also true for you. Right?
And it goes in seasons.
Yeah. So but I think subconsciously we know what's best for us. Like, if you I had a moment, okay, I want to cold plunge, then I feel like it doesn't feel right. And it's honoring that female intuition that it's like, even though it must be probably good for me, it just doesn't feel right now.
I've gone through so many seasons like that. And I used to think like, oh God, there's that Sagittarius, like being like sporadic with things.
Yeah.
But I've learned that truly there are different seasons for so many different things. And sometimes you go back to things. Sometimes you never go back. Sometimes, you know, sometimes meditation feels great. Sometimes it feels horrible. Like, sometimes it's not what you need. Sometimes you need like moving your body or like going on a trip, or you need more fun in your life. And that was one of the hardest things for me to learn. So what do you tell women after they just kind of hear, okay, there's different seasons? How do they start tuning into that after like not being tuned in at all? Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah. And I think that's why it's super cool that we actually have a built-in cycle, our internal hormonal cycle that, you know, because we're on the pill, we get disconnected from. So then we feel like I always have to go, or always have to like there was no, you know, like, when do I go? When do I push myself? When I don't push myself?
I need this conversation. You know, I really know nothing about this.
Really?
And every time my period comes, I'm like, oh, I'm surprised.
Oh,
but it's regular. But I'm still surprised.
Okay.
But I really need this conversation though, because I'm always like, why can't I push today? And it's
so when you look at everything in nature is cyclical, right? And like the seasons. And so we women are the same. We have 28-day cycle, and we go through seasons, which is like our inner winter, which is our menstruation, where we feel like we kind of go within, and it's a time for us to like be a little bit more introspected and connect with ourselves more, the intuition. Then we have our follicular phase and ovulation phase, essentially your inner spring and inner summer. So this is then where our estrogen peaks, and we feel like, wow, like I feel good, you know, like the good hair day, like
Like you even look, I do notice that every month I even feel like I look different.
Yeah, everything.
Like sometimes I'm a troll, sometimes I'm pretty.
Yeah, this is completely normal, right? So this is when you're in your spring and inner summer. So I'm just coming out of my inner summer, and I just know that this is like, oh, I feel good about myself. And you get a little, this is like nature, like trying to make you feel good so you procreate, right? Because this is spring where you're fertile. And then fall is, you lose your face. So your inner fall, which is essentially summer, where you just feel like not really feeling it, and otherwise you would be pushing it.
We want carbs.
Yeah. Well, carbs, but like also emotional carbs of like things that like make us feel good. And when you understand that you track your cycle, Cycle Bestie as well was kind of like help women get a little bit more regular with their cycle. Then okay, I go for 2 weeks and I just go a little easier, and it's just like a cycle. And we know for a fact, through science, that if you get more cyclical with how you approach life, you can achieve so much more, because it's a very good long-term solution versus trying to push yourself. I mean, this is guilty, by the way. I don't know. I'm like, you teach what you need to learn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So this is me. Because I would like push myself for 7 months and I would get burned out. And it was like, okay, this doesn't work. So what if I just can, instead of having this big cycles of pushing for 7 months and then not doing anything and feeling burned out for 7 months, what if I could just be 2 weeks and 2 weeks, right? So what if I just can do it all and plan my life around this and just kind of like honor it. And the more you honor it, the actually less painful it is. That's the ironic thing. The more you like match your diet, your lifestyle, your workouts, your everything, even your intimacy to your cycle, you all of a sudden realize, I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'm not broken. Like a lot of women feel like they're asexual, or they feel like, oh my God, like I don't know, like I can't get wet enough. And it turns out they're in the wrong part of their cycle. And if you get intimate at the right time of your cycle, you can actually realize that there's nothing wrong with you. And I can't tell you the amount of times women reach out to me that was like, I thought it was something wrong with me, or I was broken, or I feel like I was asexual. And this was just like,
I feel like what you just said is half the battle. Like when we know that something is normal, it makes, even if you change nothing, it actually makes everything better. Like you can stop stressing, because I think that the amount of chatter and the cycle that goes on in the back of our head and the amount that drains our battery, like just that, the fact that you said, some women feel like asexual. They're not even sure if they are like, do they have this bone in their body of attraction at all anymore, even to a partner that they're like obsessed with. But so tell me a little bit about that for somebody who's like an entrepreneur, who's like hardwired, hard charging. How do you even set that up to be like, how does that even work?
I think you actually mentioned a very good point. I think just like we always like, oh, let's normalize this and that. But at the end of the day, like, what's best for you. I feel like because we outsourced our power, we feel like we always look for validation. Is this what I'm going through normal? Like, is this normal? I feel like we as women often ask that question every single day.
Always.
Yeah. Is this normal that I'm getting bloated? Like if I pulled up my DMs right now, this would be number one question. Is this normal that this is happening? And I'm like, if it's normal for you, like that's normal, right? And like we want to, I guess, like get rid of the labels of what normal is and just kind of find from a place of curiosity. I'm like, right before my cycle, I feel like I want to go in. It doesn't matter. Even if science told you otherwise, if this is how you feel, 100% honor that, right? This is how you operate. And like kind of just creating your own standard and your own baseline of what's normal instead of just looking for like me or for you or anyone on the internet to tell you like, okay, like, but what is normal exactly? I'm like, whatever you decide it to be. I really believe that there's on top of everything else that we're doing, that like mindset, mind over matter, where you can really just like reclaim your power, but feeling like, okay, this is what's gonna be my new normal.
That is
and like claim it.
That is okay. That is so powerful, because you just brought me back to like being a little girl and being really sensitive. And I remember my mom would always tell me, and my dad too, like, you're too sensitive.
Oh, story of my life.
And
I'm like, Mama, not you crying again. I was like this.
And so guess what I turned into? Like, I couldn't feel feelings until like 4 years ago. Like we could sit here.
I got goosebumps when you said that.
You could tell me the saddest thing ever, and I'd just be like, like I would know it was sad, and I would feel like empathy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get my tear ducts to respond. Like I couldn't like actually feel it, because everything exactly like you said, like as women, I feel like we've outsourced, like, how should I be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't like that? Okay, I'll be something else.
The
And so,
pressure to be a good girl, insane. So like when you're being told you're too sensitive, you immediately shadow off that part that is that, which is probably your superpower, and that's why you're such a good interviewer, and that's why your podcast is so successful. But like if you weren't sensitive, like you would just not care. But you do care, and that translates in everything you do, and that's why people love following you. That's why they love your product, because I guarantee the way you do business, because you care and you're so sensitive, is so much better than someone who doesn't care.
oh my gosh, I feel like for women hearing that, it's so powerful, because there's a part of them that's like, oh, do I have what it takes? Do I have the backbone? Do I have? That's why you will be successful. And thank you so much for that. And truly, like when I started tapping into that, that is when my female relationships, like my girlfriends, like we just became so close, and it's like unhinged. I'm obsessed with it. Like I can't believe what, like allowing myself to feel that sensitivity and like just little things. Like I noticed when you cut that part of yourself off, there's parts of you that I noticed around girlfriends. Like I'm a very naturally affectionate person, but I didn't allow myself to do that. So like if a friend is sitting next to me, like I want to braid their hair or touch their back or like hug them, or like, you know, when we're doing like weekend trips, like you could just cuddle on the couch or whatever. And I did not do any of that, to the point where I was like, oh gosh, am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Is this? And that was cutting so much of who I am off, that it's like the allowing to do that changed my life. So let's start there. Like, how do we start allowing ourselves to like let that be normal, though, and allow ourselves to step into these things that we want? What have you had to do in your life?
Yeah.
Give me an
I had a
example.
reflection. So funny. I didn't remember this memory for the longest time, but growing up, my parents would call me sticky tape because I would constantly want to like hug them all the time. And they're like, I would like stick to everyone.
Yeah.
I wanted to hug them. And then like, obviously I moved to Australia when I was 18, and I remember I would just like wanting to hug people. And I remember like friends sat me down and like, have you heard of the concept of personal space?
Oh.
And I'm like, no, what is that? And they're like, you're too close. And I'm like, okay. And I remember feeling so embarrassed. I was like, oh no, it was made me feel like there was something wrong with me.
Like a part of your whole life, then you feel like shame.
Yeah. And it makes me want to cry, because I was like, oh damn it. Like I'm the same like you. I don't touch people as much, because I notice it's between Polish and American culture is very different.
Yeah.
But it's still like when I go back to Poland, I sit on my mom's lap and, you know, get really cozy. And it's like, it's so funny because that's your inner
It's
power.
your natural inclination.
Yeah.
Like,
and then it's like we had to unlearn it, and then relearning who you truly are is like such a beautiful process, right? And I think the steps, I would say, if someone feels like they kind of lost themselves in the journey, I would say like,
starting something new isn't just hard, it's also scary. I remember launching my business and this podcast thinking, what if no one buys? What if I say the wrong thing? But I also knew that if I didn't go for it, I would always wonder, and I couldn't live with that. And so I'm so glad that I bet on myself no matter what happens. And it also helps when you have a partner like Shopify on your side. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from brands like mine, Blossy, to brands just getting started. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. Accelerate your efficiency with AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. And get the word out like you have a full marketing team behind you with email and social campaigns wherever your customers are at. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet, boosting conversions and reducing abandoned carts. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/happy. Go to shopify.com/happy. That's shopify.com/happy.
the steps, I would say, if someone feels like they kind of lost themselves in the journey, I would say like deny everything that people tell you that you are. That's step number one. Then you choose who you are, right? I think there's like a level of like, we think, I work with so many women, probably you too, where you hear like, oh, I'm just a shy person. I'm like, shy is not a personality trait. It's a learned behavior because you were shut down as a kid. Like when you actually look at a baby, 6-month-old, 1-year-old, like not a single child is shy.
A temper tantrum is not shy, and you did plenty of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's like you're not shy. You
Yeah.
just learned to be shy as a kid because you were surrounded by the environment that wasn't really honoring who you truly are, because you were slightly different. Maybe you were too affectionate or too sensitive, and so you shut down. So then you became shy. But shy is basically just like a coping mechanism of someone who is afraid of their own light and was told to dim it.
I totally agree, because if you ask any of those women who say they're shy, because this was my story. Like I was told I was shy, but I'm like, I was a child who literally would turn the video camera on and make everybody sit and watch me perform.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was like, you are watching me perform all of this all night long. That is not shy at all. And like I remember wanting to be that way. And I remember the moments of shutdown, which I'll have to ask you about yours. But when you talk to someone who's shy, I guarantee they're like, well, when I'm around the right people, I'm not shy. Well, that means you're not actually shy. Like you said, it's a protection mechanism.
Yeah, because in the past you must have not felt safe enough to shine, which is like, I'd say it's a disease way more common than a hormonal disease among all women, you know? And then when someone else shines, like another woman, we feel like jealous or competitive, or we feel like that's not okay because she shines, so that means that she takes away my light or my attention.
Like,
which is
how is she allowed to do that?
Yeah. And so I'm so grateful that over time I've been able to like meet more and more incredible women that are open to that. But there's still like that like sister wound out there that happens every now and then when I just feel like hugging like someone. I was like, yo, I'm not a threat. Like I wish you well, and I want to like build it together.
Totally.
And it's like, instead of putting women against each other, like we're going against the big pharma, we're going against the system, the establishment that is keeping us small. And even if, you know, like that's why I'm just like, I'm super excited to promote your brand, stand behind your brand, post about your brand, because it's like you winning, like I win.
I
Like,
totally agree.
and it's like, I really don't believe in competition. I think this is very 20th century concept. I think it's collaboration. So if we all get together, I would love for my customers to like get to know your product as well. Of course, like they like, because at the end of the day, it's like everyone wins, right? Like,
it's also understanding consumer behavior. Like I thankfully understood a long time ago, because I'm a consumer. I literally was like, okay, I am the consumer of all consumers. We'll talk about it. I don't necessarily go to something like, especially supplements, or like think of a restaurant, or I don't go to one and stop going to another. Like I like to try multiple things. And sometimes I add things to something, or
100%.
like and also knowing, like you have to have an abundance mindset as somebody who has any product. I don't care if it's a digital course or a physical product.
Anything that you do, that's 100%.
$1,000,000% have to have an abundance mindset, because people cycle on and off of your stuff. They're just going to. And if you try to grip people and grip your customers, you'll actually destroy your business, because you need to focus on just having the best possible product and like the best possible business and the best possible thing for those people, instead of focusing on keeping someone that wants to go somewhere else and try something else. I'd rather have them go try something else. Like if they're feeling called to something else, it either means I didn't do a good enough job, or it's time for them to cycle off of whatever it is that we're doing.
100%. And it's funny because I teach a lot about abundance, and I feel like that goes hand in hand with biohacking, because I was just like, who cares if you're healthy? But like so many women out there are healthy, eating the right thing, but they like barely make ends meet, or really are like dying in their day job. And I feel like, oh my God, it's literally sucking my soul out of me, and I want to really start a business. I'm like, cool. Like even if you eat healthy, but you're in a situationship or in a work situation that you really hate, like, do you think you're going to feel well? No, like wellness is so much more than just eating the right food or going to a workout. It's really just taking care of yourself. And I think it's so interconnected that I find it really interesting whenever I work with women and they're like, I've tried everything. And I've used all the supplements and I've used all the workouts and nothing is changing. I'm like, okay, so how's your relationship? I'm like, oh yeah, though that doesn't matter. You know, my husband's terrible, and you know, I have no relationship with him whatsoever, and I hate my job. I'm like, okay, there you go. Like,
Oh my God. So this
Right?
was, I started in the fitness world. I owned a gym
I
years
didn't know
ago.
that.
Oh my gosh. It was my main thing. Like the main thing. Competed in fitness competitions for 10
Oh,
years, was
shit.
on 11 fitness cover magazines, like fully started there, owned a gym. Training all of these different women. And then I had an online membership for
Oh, wow.
9 years where we would do, we did like fitness challenges
Mm-hmm.
for 3 times a year. And this is back when Facebook was amazing, but I would have 40,000 women on fitness challenges. And I was like comparing myself to a friend who was having like hundreds of thousands. And I thought I was doing terrible. And now I'm like, oh God, those days were so good. So started in that. So a lot, I mean, that's an influx, you work
Yeah.
with, I mean, your following is crazy. I can't even imagine the amount of inboxes you get because you really focus on health and wellness of women wanting those answers. But going back to that, it's always that. It's so holistic because whenever I would work with women, it was the same exact thing.
Right?
They're like, why isn't this working? Why isn't my body changing? And then when you start, especially when I worked one-on-one with people in the gym, I was like, you have a belief that you're not worthy, or you are so stressed out about making money, you can hardly afford this session and it stresses you out. And so the thing that you love is actually a stress. So there's conflicting beliefs here. Like it's so much about the belief system. It's like
100%.
biohacking your brain and your beliefs.
100%. And like, it really goes hand in hand because, when you don't feel good in your body, it's really hard to get you out of the funk. I was like, when I was really ill, there was no amount of Tony Robbins that would get me if to feel good, because there is a part of you that biologically, when you don't feel great, it's you really feel like you're pushing to feel good. But if you can take over your biology, you can take care of your hormones, your glucose, right? So you feel like, okay, like I feel good, like I feel like my gut is healthy, I feel like I have energy. The question is like, okay, now time to like work on this, like your biggest muscle, right? And ask yourself, okay, it's like an everyday practice. And people are like, how do you do this? I'm like, it's not like I've done it once 5 years ago and I'm like all like enlightened. I get insecure. I get stressed out, anxious. Like today I'm like, this isn't like a magic wand that it goes away, but it's like you at least have the tools. So just like you go to the gym, this is like your mind gym. Like if you don't go to the gym, if you don't do all these practices, if you don't expose yourself to incredible people to talk to or podcast or whatever, then obviously that will have an impact on how you see the world. And so, I like to think it's like you work on your VR, right? Like, and if you put enough effort, like the VR that you see the world as friendly and non-competitive, and you feel like, oh, this makes you feel good. You like approaching your business from a place of abundance, like there is enough for everybody. And that money is currency. And there's a current, it has to keep moving, comes in and out. A way different way to run a business, way more like calming for your nervous system. And you're setting yourself up for way bigger success, like generational wealth success with that mindset. Because what's the point of running a business if you just feel like it's never enough? And I catch myself sometimes, it's Black Friday. Are we going to make enough money? Are we going to do this?
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't want to buy into the scarcity mindset. This is the real matrix of like making me feel like I'm competing with other people, or that other brands did better, or other people did better, or other people have better following. Like all of those stories, I was like, no, I have to catch myself and I'll be like, we don't do that anymore, Aggie, and just like making sure that the lens that I look at the world through is just like, okay, women are my allies and I want to see them win.
Oh God, I have to do that all the time because it's so easy for me to get caught up in the comparison thing. And now, especially with, I think having a physical product too, and getting really back into, the digital marketing space in a different way. Like it can be really bro-y. It can be
100%.
Like, you can get really caught up in feeling like you're not doing anything in your company because everybody's always talking about who's doing the most, out there right now. So I'm just like, okay, you've always known that does not work. That hasn't worked for me in the fitness world when I would compare myself to the person at the top. That didn't help. It makes you feel like you're doing nothing when really you have this, you've done so much. It's beautiful. You have a beautiful life and you're comparing to these other people. It's like the worst spot for me.
And also to the highlight reel of those people, not even to their actual life.
That's so true.
Right? So that's the illusion. If you actually, because I have never wanted to be another woman whenever I met them in person. Because the moment you meet someone's energy, even if they're beautiful, like, oh, whether the energy is beautiful, but there is something, like you get the full picture and you just like can admire and be like almost like in deep awe of somebody. But I never wanted their life. But I feel like on social media, I catch myself like, oh, wow, that life is really cool. Because I don't know these people and I haven't met them in person. And I'm sure you can, I mean, we've met a lot of people through social media and then in person, right? Like I'm sure, I mean, hundreds of people that I first follow and then met in person. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, amazing. And sometimes it's like, never made
social
your
media
heroes.
filters the reality. Like so I had this amazing thing happen to myself where it's like one of those, you're like, thank you, God, for that little insight. I had just written my book in 2017 and I was in this place with my book where I was like, oh my gosh, I want it to hit like these lists. And, I want this to be the thing that opens up everybody asking me to speak on these big stages. And I want this girl's life. I had someone in particular, like this woman who was literally released her book within 2 weeks of mine. Hers took off, sold millions and millions and millions of copies. I got to go to dinner with her like probably, I think it was probably like 6 months into that like rocket ship. And she had been booked on, I think at the point where I had dinner with her, it was halfway through the year. And she had spoken on over 140 stages. Now, before the book came out, if you asked me if there was that much demand, I would have been like, well, yes. I mean, this is like the career I want. Like, let's go. And I got to go to dinner with her. And she literally was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm exhausted. This is not the life I wanted. Like, I'm not enjoying any of this. I'm about to break down. Everything is falling apart. And God was like, there you go. What do you think? Like, do you want this? And it's like online, everybody wanted her life. And in person, she was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, let me just tell you what is actually happening and what this feels like. And so online filters all of that because you don't get like the, oh yeah, that looks great, right? Like the constant photos and the cheering for people or just like
it's such
what
an
that
instant
is.
validation of what you do. And I feel like when we have a mission, we have a book, obviously it's so nice to feel like it resonates with people. It feels incredible. But I caught myself doing the same thing where I felt like I want to do as many podcasts as possible. And, everyone's like, you should get a PR. And then I did like 7 or 8 interviews and I'm like, I give so much energy and presence and I was just like, it doesn't feel like the quality versus quantity. I was like, maybe I can do less podcasts, but actually probably be able to drop in and feel like that the way I show up is very different. And I watch back some of these podcasts and I'm like, I can tell I'm so exhausted. I lose my train of thought. I don't remember what I was saying. It's just like, you're human, right? Like I'm running my own business. It's not like I just go out and like do podcasts. Like
so maybe more isn't more. I know it's like I keep having to hear this message over and over.
This is a note to self because in 5 minutes I'm gonna go on Instagram, see someone speaking on stage. I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
Maybe I should do
so much.
Talk to me before you do all that.
Yeah,
I'll help bring you. I'll help bring you back. I've got
please remind me.
A whole thing right now about all of that. So because it's just like constantly reeling myself back in. You know?
It's definitely it's like a practice. It really is. They're like, okay, here I am doing it again, buying into this hallucination that other women have it easier and that their life somehow is better than mine. And so I just have to remind myself that this isn't what I'm here for. Yeah, and that's what I think. The bottom line is community. Like if you have other women in your circle that can remind you of what's important, that's really helpful. Or people in general.
Everything.
But because it's like, it's hard to anchor on your own. And I think my personal experience, I try to do everything on my own. Very independent. I'm like, I don't need anyone's help. I don't need men's help.
Definitely.
I'm going to do it alone. I'm like, cool, like you can do it alone, but like we're not meant to do it
but
alone.
It really sucks.
We're not an island. Yeah. Like it's a community. We thrive through community. We know that people that live the longest, it doesn't really matter. They're trying to come up with the best anti-aging diet and like all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, we look at people that live the longest and they live in the communities.
I know, and they get to eat bread and sometimes they even drink a lot. Sometimes they smoke cigs.
Yeah. And then you're like,
truly, I'm like, it's in community. It's like movement and in community.
Yeah, 100%. And just like nature. And so when we focus so much on what to eat. And it's like, should I have a steak? Should I not have a steak? What about the carbs? What about the keto? And I'm like, does it really matter? Of course it matters a little bit. But like between you and I, like I would focus on like really living a fulfilled life and getting to ask yourself like some uncomfortable questions of like, what am I here to do? And like, how can I step into my fullest potential?
If you're a small business, the right hire can be make or break. Hoping the right people see your job posting isn't the best growth strategy. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs is a boost whenever you need to find quality talent. Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. With Sponsored Jobs, your post is boosted in search results so you can reach candidates that actually meet your criteria, like skills, certifications, or location. And I love this. Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed are 95% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. So instead of wasting time sorting through the wrong people, you're getting matched with candidates who can actually drive results. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
That is finally, it only took me, 25 years. That is finally the realization that I'm having is, because I come from a heavy family. And so, I went at my first diet at 8 years old. Huh?
Oh, heavy as in like, okay.
Oh yeah, overweight.
Okay,
overweight.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I think the initial obsession with fitness was like anything to not feel the pain of being overweight, because you get made fun of it for it as well. And that just causes a lot of, I thought that being fit was like a protective layer from everything. Like that's what I believed. Like if you look like that, you must be shielded from all, right? You must be popular.
There's
you must
so
have
much
friends.
judgment about that. My parents were also like bigger, especially my mom. And sorry to interrupt, but I just felt really called to share that. Like growing up with parents who were made fun of for their looks, when people was like, oh, your mom is like maybe lazy, maybe she's this, maybe she's that. And my mom wasn't these things at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like these labels were so unfair to people that are a little bigger.
Totally.
That I feel like a big part of what I do as well is just to show people that it's still the same person underneath. Like I'm the same person. My mom lost, I think 60 pounds recently, and everyone's like, oh wow, like she's this and that. I'm like, it's so funny because like 5 minutes ago you didn't think she was those things. So it's like we attach so much value to people, and it's at the end of the day it's like a chemical imbalance in the body based on self-worth and a little bit of science of what works, what doesn't. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
but I just felt like
it also makes me think about, one of the big things when I got into fitness and trying to eat right, I just remember finding myself like trying to fill this void that I didn't know what it was. And I know that this probably happens all the time in your community, and I'm so curious about yours. But I would find myself, even like once I quote unquote got fit, like what people would think, like I was in the fitness world, and I would stand at the fridge, and it was just like I had just eaten something, and I would be staring into the fridge, which just felt like this abyss. And I was just like trying to fill something. It was like this deep void that no matter how much food you eat, it's not filling. And it's just like, I think that is a big thing for women. Did you ever experience that?
I mean, I think that summarizes everything essentially, especially for us women. I think that's why it's so important whenever I hear a guy share a diet and it's like, it's so simple. You just eat less and move more. And I feel like, it just sounds like you've never lived with a woman in your life or never interacted with a woman, because for me it's so much more complicated, so much more nuanced. And even if you like, because what's the goal? Cool, like you're gonna get a 6-pack, but then if you still feel like this isn't it, like was it worth it, right? Like you can be miserable like and skinny too, like
I can say you can be miserable and be very fit.
Yeah, so it's like I think we often think that like the biggest lie or illusion of the ego is to when you think that I'll be happy when I lose weight, I'll be happy when I have a 6-pack, I'll be loved. But like, do you want to be loved because you look hot, or do you want to be loved for who you are? So every time I feel like I catch myself like, wow, like I wish I looked prettier, or I had less, like I was smaller or skinnier. And then I'm like, so that more people like me, but would I want to be friends with people that only care what I would look like? No. So why do I care in the first place? If people want to be in your life because how you look, they shouldn't be in your life. Right? So like, so what are we trying to achieve?
Oh my gosh. I was on we just went to Italy, and we have these friends who always keep us really grounded because they're expats, but they moved to Florence.
Oh, wow.
And they are like, every time we go there, they're like, nobody talks about work here, so don't talk about work. I'm like, okay. And we just end up having the most amazing meals, like incredible wine, incredible conversations. And I'm like, you know, we've been in each other's lives, I think, for 15 years now. And the guy is now, I think he's in his 50s. He's in his mid 50s. And it's like these realizations like, oh, like we're all aging. Like, and I don't see it though on people that you just fucking love and you just drop in with. You know what I mean? Like, I was just sitting there having this realization of, wow, you're ageless when you understand, like, to surround yourself with amazing people. You're ageless. I feel beautiful around them all the time. I could look like a troll under a bridge. And I'm just like, they are my people because we are talking about the real stuff. And they knew me before anything had ever even happened in my life. And not that you even have to do that, because there's people in my life who I've known in the last year, but we're into the same things. And it's like the real things that when we're 70, we'll still be talking about these things.
But like, if you are into the real things, if you really look at someone's soul, like, there is no way not to think that you're beautiful, because your soul is beautiful, nothing but beautiful, because we're all one. So your beauty is my beauty.
Totally.
And this is like, comes back to the mindset and your spiritual views, whether like, if it's 5D consciousness in a way that we believe that we're all one, or we separate, you know, do you believe in more like an ego-based consciousness where it's like, well, you are you and me is me, and we kind of have to keep it, you know, competitive. But if you truly tap into this feeling that like we are one, and me seeing you win is also makes me win, and that I see you for who you truly are, and who you are is not your body, not your beautiful hair, not even the fact that your name is Lori. It's just like the soul. And like, there's no way not to be in love with that and not be in the awe of the true essence, the feminine essence in you, because it's also within me. And so if I love myself, I'm going to essentially love you. But if I don't love myself or don't see my power and my beauty, it's going to be really hard to admire you in that. So I think it's like, I don't think you can look like a troll if you really like connect with yourself.
I'm gonna try to look like a troll for you, and you're gonna be like, yeah, actually today you look a little like a troll.
I honestly feel like the magnetism, like some of my best hair day is like no makeup, no nothing. It just comes from that like deep fulfillment, doing what I love, being on the beach in Europe. And I was like, wow, no makeup, no hair, you know, doesn't matter what outfit I'm just fulfilled. I feel like at peace. I look great. I look beautiful, right? I don't try. Like it's an
energy. It's like a magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even, you know, there's been so often where you think someone's beautiful and you meet them and it's like, ooh, yikes. That is no longer good looking to me. Like, I don't know about you, but with like going through phases, like dating men in the past, like way past for me, probably not that past for you, but way past for me. I remember being like, oh my God, he's so gorgeous. And then you talk to me, you're like, hideous beast. Like,
and you can't disconnect it, right? And that's what I mean. Like when it comes to social media, you don't really feel the energy, so it's really easy to compare. If you're like, oh my God, this person is so beautiful, and then you meet them and you can't even see their beauty because the energy is so loud that you can't hear what what they look like.
What are you right now? Like what are you working through at this moment? Like what's something that you're finding that you're really maybe is a mountain that you're climbing?
I would like to show up more vulnerably on social media. And it's that tough balance, because I feel like when you don't show the struggles, then you're like not vulnerable. When you show that you're crying, it's that why you're filming yourself crying, or like when you're upset and you're like, fuck, it feels like I can never win. Because I think that's the most inspiring thing. It's like the strength of showing up every single day, no matter how I feel. I'm here on social media and I feel like I don't want to just share my highlight reel. But you know what it's like when shit hits the fan. It's not exactly the first thing you do. It's like, oh, let me just
turn my camera on.
Yeah, let me go live. Hi guys, so I'm having a mental breakdown. But I would like to share that because it's a very big part of who I am. Like I go through ups and downs. I overcommit. I get stressed. Then I feel like I'm on top of the world and I have great mindset. And so I wish I could get better at storytelling and communicating how normal my life is and how quote unquote uneventful in a way. But it's just like, but that's the most beautiful, like the best days. I think you can agree. It's like the days that you can't even translate into a photo. It was just like such a good, delicious day. Had a good, deep conversation with my friends, and like I felt so connected and I felt so good, and I had a delicious meal and I felt fulfilled, and I snuggled with my pet. I don't know if you have a pet. But
I have 2 pets.
Oh, okay. So
Sheepadoodles, large sheepadoodles.
I have a cockapoo named Peanut Butter.
What's her name? Peanut Butter?
Yeah, it's a boy. It's a very masculine name. I don't know why people always think he's a girl. But
mine's Bonkers and Bananas. They're both boys, but we could have Bananas and Peanut Butter.
Bananas together. Yes, please. That's so cute.
Bonkers, Bananas, and Peanut Butter.
But when you look at like Bonkers or Bananas, you can see like, wow, like it's so funny how like the joy, like I wanted more of that, you know? And I feel like because I have this like weird conditioning that I feel responsible for everyone's feelings and emotions, and I feel like I have to earn my happy in a way, but maybe I don't.
Get it? I get it. Where do you think that came from? Why do you feel responsible for everyone's emotions?
I think when you're like a very hypersensitive kid, you immediately pick up people's feelings and you internalize them. You feel like it's because of you. And so you try to like.
Did you ever get that like clear message as a kid or not?
I mean, I've been told that I'm like way too sensitive growing up. And then I think if you're in a coaching space or like, you know, self-growth space and you help other people, like it's usually because you want to help yourself in a way.
Totally.
Right?
For sure.
So
that's all I'm doing here. That's why we're talking.
You need therapy without
By the way,
you need
selfishly
therapy.
For me, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's like with the podcast, because it's just like you feel like, well, I'm sure you do a podcast because you wish you had those conversations and access to these people 20
I just wanted
years
deep
ago.
conversations and like I wanted answers.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I would say that would be like my biggest goal right now, to like just being able to like tap into that joy and not feel like I'm responsible for other people's feelings.
I love that you shared that because literally my goal right now is to be more authentic, like figure out how to be more authentic online, because that's not my natural inclination to be like, wow, this is my 5th sucky day in a row. I'm getting my ass handed to me in business. Let me just tell you what happened. I feel like I'm failing. This is sucking. I lost money here. I had to let go of this team because it was a bad decision on my part. Like, that's not what we feel. Like,
well, I would honestly, I would do it, but because there's other people involved.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't maybe want to share like, hey, like I had to fire somebody or you know, because it just feels like
totally.
It's not like exactly something I'm super proud of. Like,
some of that stuff you can't necessarily share in real time because there's people involved.
Exactly. So I was just like I really want to, and I think it's just like and giving people, allowing them time. Like my Jacob, my husband, met his biological dad for the first time a year ago, but he only shared that like last month. So I was like, cool, like that's his decision, even though it was such a big part of our life. I was like, that's not my story to share, so I can't really share it. And I think it's just like that under navigating that, right? And like being able to say like, I'd like to share something and show up that isn't always perfect, and share with people like, this is what we've been going through, but also realizing that some stories are not ours to share.
If you're in back-to-back meetings all day like me, you know the struggle. You're nodding along, you're contributing, you're trying to stay present, but in the back of your mind, you can hardly remember anything that was said. And this can make meetings really messy. And Granola fixes that. Granola is an AI-powered notepad built for the way real people actually meet. So here's how it works. You take rough notes like you normally would, and in the background, Granola securely is transcribing the meeting. Then it turns everything into clean, structured, actually useful notes when the meeting ends. And the best part is that Granola works through your device's audio, which means it integrates seamlessly into the video conferencing tools you already use. So no setup and no awkward bots. It's just your normal meeting, but with superpowers. You get to actually listen instead of frantically typing every word and still walk away knowing exactly what was decided, who's going to do what, and what comes next. For me, this has been a game changer between running Glossy, recording podcasts, and being in constant mastermind conversations. My days are stacked with meetings that actually matter. Before, I was either half present typing everything or scrambling after trying to piece together what happened. And that's not an option when you're making really big decisions in your business. So the first time I used Granola, I finished a call and thought, wait, this is literally the best thing ever. It's clean, it's organized action items, it's clear, and I literally know exactly what I need to do without anything falling through the cracks. And the biggest shift, no more rewriting notes, no more chasing people to confirm what was said, no more mental load. I can stay fully present and still have total clarity after. So if meetings are eating up your day, Granola is a no-brainer. You can try it totally free for 3 months. Just head to granola.ai/earn. That's granola.ai/earn to get your time back. Get 3 months free at granola.ai/earn.
Something that I'm going to do to like let myself practice on like being
You're gonna
more
message
authentic.
me. I was like, let's post it together.
Literally, I'm going to do a, I think I'm going to continue to do them. We'll see. But I'm working on doing like a hidden podcast series, like that you can opt in for. But it's going to be like it's just a different version where I'm a little more like real and raw and a lot more of my normal sailor swearing. Because I'm trying to practice somewhere else that feels a little safer. And so if they're opting in, if it's my people, I feel like if you're a hater and you do that, like that's fine, whatever, go for it. But it's like, how can I create these safer spaces for me to practice on that until I feel comfortable enough and get some feedback from people who I know if you're like opting in for that, where I'm like, hey, this is going to be a lot more real and raw, then great. Like you opted in for it. Where I think right now what feels different is I think some of the myths can be, and when I've seen some people like either get canceled or like people get, really upset with them, it's typically because they've been showing up online a certain way and they decided to like maybe let a little more of themselves out, or they got caught being themselves, like truly being themselves. Yeah. And so the goal is to let yourself more out before you quote unquote get caught being your real self and you disappoint you have a mass disappointment of people who feel like they got bait and switched.
Yes, but I also feel like it's so annoying in a way that we got to a point in our lives where people are like, I'm so disappointed. I'm like, good.
It is annoying. It's really dumb.
You are an adult. You are capable of being disappointed. Like,
right.
And it's also not my job. So like when I worked with my coach and she was like, oh, I met this person that I like looked up and they're like a really big motivational speaker and I look up to them and I met them in person and they were terrible to me in person and out of integrity. And she's like, but it's not his fault. Like you idolize them.
It's true.
You fully aware that this is what they post on social media, like publicly. Like why are you upset with him for what your assumption? And it's like it's your ego because you want to idolize somebody there and you feel like, oh, people out there is better. She's like, it's your responsibility. And I was like, oh shit, like so she didn't like let me off the hook. She was like, it's actually your fault and get over it. And so I was like, really interesting, because at the end of the day, yes, I can totally feel the pressure of like, especially for us women, we have to be perfect. We need to show up, but don't show up too much and do this and do that. But at the same time, I feel like this is an insane expectation of social media to be everything all the time. And then when you do something quote unquote wrong, it's because people that are watching you or following you aren't embracing their own shadows. So it's always that idea that like, oh no, I would never do that. Well, but you did something else, or like, this like bias that like, if you committed a mistake, it's part of your personality. When I commit a mistake, it's just an exception to my personality, right? So we do that to people all the time. So I think it has to break at some point. At some point, we're gonna get enough people canceled. Yeah, that it will have to be like, okay, this is getting.
I feel
ridiculous.
like it's already starting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just starting it in my head where I'm just like. I think between like celebrities, politicians, all of the different things that have just like gone down, and just even with everyday people, I'm not making certain things okay, but and
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I am saying like, you can like somebody, like I can follow you and like you for the things I followed you and liked you for, meaning like, let's just say before I knew who you were, like, I can be super inspired by your fitness. I can love your fashion. I can be inspired by your hair, and you can also be parts of you that I don't love, you know, maybe there's, who knows, maybe there's parts of you I didn't love, or maybe there's, you know, you do things, who knows, I don't even know what it would be, but that can also be okay. Like I can follow somebody, like you said, like I can follow a musician and hate their, you know, spiritual or religious or political beliefs, but I can still be like, I can separate the fact that I can like their music, you know?
Yeah. But we made it so impossible in a way that like, even people would lose friends because who they voted for. I'm like, honestly, like really you can't be friends with someone who has a different political opinion at this point in time. Like really? So you just want to live in this bubble when you all agree? Like it's just not sustainable. We're going to get to a point where you and I are not going to agree on our freaking water or the movie we want to watch. And we no longer going to be friends. So we just created this like impossible standard. I'm like, cool, like, can you like someone's music and acknowledge they're not a good person or not a good role model? Like no one said that musicians, actors, influencers are role models. You're signing up to their VR, their channel, and it's up to you to make the decision whether you're going to look it up or not. But I feel like it's getting to a point where people have to realize, oh, I looked up to this person and I'm disappointed. I'm like, and then what? Then you have to listen to yourself because she's like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm like, good, believe in yourself. Like focus on, because we spend so much time on social media, on gossip, you know, magazines and following other people's lives. So I'm like, if you're not as invested, like you're going to do something terrible tomorrow. I'm going to find out, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, sucks. But like, I think about all the terrible things that happened to me in my life.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Like next, but I'm not as like, I admire you. I'm not as invested in your life. And I feel like when you don't have your own life, you try to have other people fill in.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Before I, you know, in the past when I wrote a book on female like friendships, essentially, and I had this checklist that I always wanted people to hit. Like I needed these certain qualities and things in friends. And I was just always disappointed because I didn't know I had this checklist. But it's probably like when people are dating, they have this like checklist that they don't tell anyone about that nobody can hit because it's an impossible checklist. And so I had this with girlfriends. I like did not struggle in my romantic relationships, but girlfriendships, it was like I was constantly disappointed, like constantly, because I had this checklist I wasn't even telling them about that I just assumed that they should know.
That they didn't hit.
Oh my God, as soon as I got rid of the checklist, it was like, I can now understand that there are so many different buckets for people to fill. And like, you know, because I'm so multifaceted, we all are, that I wanted them to be multifaceted in the exact same way as me. Like,
I'm guilty of that too.
Like so bad. I'm like, oh, you love business, but you don't like adventure? Too bad.
Yeah. Like, who's your, yeah. Okay, that's so funny. I didn't think about it like that, but it's for sure like, we do it to our romantic partner as well. Like, you need to inspire me, be adventurous, be good in business, be good in bed, do all of these things, right? And it's like another checklist.
Totally. And the checklists keep us from getting like the massive blessings that those people actually have, because we're so focused on what they don't have that we miss that this person is so good at fulfilling this certain thing inside of us. And I missed out on so many girlfriends who, thankfully, a lot of them like were still there when I actually realized how incredible they were. Like, you know, I have one who's just an adventure friend. Like, she's not going to want to talk about business with me, like, at all. And I just hated that. I was like, oh, like, I can't hang out with her because I really need this like business focus. And now I'm like, great, let's do a vacation where we don't talk about business at all. All we do is surf in Costa Rica. Like, let's just go have fun and not talk about any, like, now I can compartmentalize these different parts of my life right down to my husband. The reason I have such a great relationship with him is I'm not making him be all the things for me, because now my friends can be those things, like fill those things in, and I can appreciate him for what he is in my life.
And I think you just described the meaning of community. that we again glorify the perfect partner, the best friend, my bestie, right? Like, oh, my best friend, it's the best friend of all of the friends. But the pressure to be everything as a partner, as a wife, or as a friend, you're like, dang, like that's like enough. Like I really love that you understand that, okay, out of the community of 20 people, this is my adventure bestie, this is my business bestie, and this is I have girlfriends that were just like dressing up, going to a restaurant and whatever. They're not the best biohacking friends, and I love that I have my science besties as well, and I have my biohacking besties, I have my going out besties, I have my adventure besties, or the travel besties. And when you realize, I'm like, wow, like I don't have to put that pressure of being everything on one person, and all of a sudden you just realize, I'm like, oh cool, maybe I don't have to be all of the things all the time either.
Oh, it's the best.
Right?
I love that. It relieves all the pressure from you. And then if we keep the checklist, or we keep people on pedestals, I hate to break it to you, but you will turn 40 or 50 and have 0 friends. Like, I watch people in my life who, like parents or parents' friends, like they all eventually end up falling apart because they all want each other to like believe a certain way, or be a certain thing. I'm just watching these like very rock solid beliefs make them lose all their friends towards the last chapter of their life, which is the sad, that is like, if I'm taking a lesson from that at all, it's watching how these beliefs are making you completely lonely at the end of your life. And that is like not what I want. So really allowing people to be in those different compartments and love them for those reasons,
Yeah, and maybe just not all necessarily put all the eggs into one basket, and allow yourself to like be friends with multiple people, right? Like it's just like, I think that is also healthier than just trying to just pick the one person that you're the closest with.
Totally. So what we're saying is the best biohack is community.
100%. I thought it was like, what we're saying, we're besties now. But I was like, 100%.
So here's what we're saying. I'm glad you could all listen into this session.
Yeah, no, I guess what we're saying is like, okay, biohacking is amazing, please do it. But at the same time, something above it all is that innate feminine intuition to like just nurture herself, nurture people around her, nurture like nature, like everything around her, and like bring that beauty into the life of everyone around her, and less pressure and like more fun, more joy that will heal you, that will cure anything that you're going through, right? It's the best medicine.
And if you're ready for some other things, you have incredible tools, because I'm all about the tools. So many times in the beginning of my journey, or when I fall out of like routine, which has happened multiple times in my life, and I'm such a routine-based person, a lot of times it takes like one thing or one product to get me back on. Like just if you just do one simple thing. So tell me a little bit about your product line, and if somebody's in that phase right now where they're like, oh, maybe this, they understand the community stuff, they understand what we talked about, but they also know something is kind of missing.
Yeah. Well, the one product I'm the most proud of is Psycho Bestie. It's the first supplement that's phase specific. So you take one capsule for every day of your cycle, and it's a different formula for every day. So you get to like experience 25 different ingredients, but they're specifically designed at the specific time of your cycle. So it supports better ovulation, so better mood and libido, and less PMS and no painful periods, but also just like more energy and estrogen balance. So I feel like that would be
I know many people who need this, and I need it. Did you say better mood during your period?
Yeah.
Do I take it every day of the month, or do I take it on my cycle?
You every day of the month. So we're basically at the beginning,
you're always on a cycle.
Yeah, your cycle is 28 days, and the period's only like 5 or 6, right? So like for the first 5 days, we take care of your menstruation. So make sure that it's like, it sucks less, essentially. The follicular phase, it's gonna, we're gonna focus on making you help with like energy, so your workouts are better. Like make sure that estrogen has to be the right balance. Too much estrogen, you're gonna put on weight. Too little estrogen, and we're gonna lose the glow, right? So it's like just right, the Goldilocks rule. So we have dim inside to make sure that it works. And then we have the hydroberberine, so it helps you with glucose spikes and all the other. I'm just so proud because I feel like this is like the one product that I created that's like with women in mind. Because I'm like, what you need on your day 1 is not what you need on your day 17. Like, so why am I supposed to take one supplement every single day? Like, I'm not a bro. Like, I'm a woman. I need a supplement that's designed for me. So I was like, I'll just make one.
I love that. And it's beautiful packaging, you guys. Check it out. Seriously, our cycle is so, it literally controls so much of who we are, which
100%.
Which I need to tune in more. So, but that's why you came into my life. Well, for many other reasons as well, but I'm so grateful for you. Where can we find you, follow you? Where can we get the supplement?
You can find me at Aggie on Instagram, AGGIE, or on my website at www.biohacking. No, there's no at. But never mind. So biohackingbestie.com, and then we have our supplements called Biohacking Bestie. And if you give us a chance, if you know, maybe there's enough room for everybody. So Glossy, you know, I would love for you to use both. And
was it a pill?
Yeah.
Well, you need to swallow it.
100%.
So you need to drink it with Glossy. It's perfect.
Yeah. So it gives you the glow while you're on your cycle.
Chaser. Yeah. It's perfect. Well, I'm so grateful for you guys. We will link all of that up at the bottom so you guys can just go down there and check it out. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was so much fun.
Thank you. So
yeah. And now I want to do this. We'll eat next time as well.
Please.
Okay.